Welcome to the Downtown Madison Happenings podcast, and I'm your host, Jason Ilster, president of Downtown Madison. I think we've got a great discussion here today about theater in downtown Madison. But we want to thank our sponsors, American Family Insurance, which opened their first offices in downtown Madison in 1927, and its downtown presence continues today in the Spark Building, which is home to the American Family Insurance Institute for Corporate and Social Impact and the Dream Bank, an inspirational community space. American Family is still based in Madison, and the company's mission is to inspire, protect, and restore dreams through exceptional products, services, and community partnerships. We are here today with Jennifer Uphoff Gray, the artistic director of Forward Theater, to talk all things arts in downtown. Forward Theater, how important the arts community is for downtown, and really anything Jen wants to talk about. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, Jason.
Well, I got to say first, I'm a little intimidated because you have a podcast, Theater Forward, which has how many episodes that you've recorded? In the hundreds?
We are recording episode 100 this week, actually.
Oh, I looked this morning and I guessed. So Congratulations on 100 podcasts. If you haven't listened to this podcast, it's fantastic. It covers all topics about forward theater, about how to find technical directors, and all these different subjects that are really important to theater. So do join their podcast and listen in. But we're going to pay attention to our podcast today. And we're going to talk about Forward Theater, which has been with us for 15 years. This is season 15 of the 2023-2024 season. And you're starting off with an amazingly named play, The Garbageologists? How do you say that?
The Garbologists.
The Garbologists. I wanted to put an extra GE in there. You said you're starting in a couple of days with rehearsals. What is this play about?
Oh, I am so excited. I'm directing this one and I cannot wait to get into rehearsals for it. I think we're going to be maybe the third or fourth production that this play has had. It's really new, by a playwright named Lindsay Joelle. And it is a fantastic play about two people who, under ordinary circumstances, you would never expect to be in the same place and to get to know each other. So it takes place in the cab and on the streets for a New York City sanitation truck. And it's the two workers who the play starts their first day teamed up together. And the two characters, you've got Danny, who's a white kind of mansplaining Staten Island, been doing this for a long time guy. And then his new partner, Marlo, who is an Ivy League educated Black woman. And kind of one of the mysteries at the heart of the play is what you would expect. Like, why is she in this job? Why is she working as a sanitation employee? What I love about this play, first of all, it's very funny. Second of all, the visuals. I mean, you're just going to watch these two actors like chucking garbage bags into the back of a truck hopper on stage and like wrestling mattresses and things into this hopper. And I feel like that's a really fun physical thing to work on and to see on stage. But also, it really warms my heart. There's something I think we are all craving right now in our society, which is the ability for people who seem like they don't have everything in common to get to know each other. And this isn't about going from someone who's on an extreme side of a divide and expecting them to get along with someone on the extreme side of a divide. But the reality is most of us are kind of here in the middle of our society and trying to just, live our lives, and to see two people get to know and appreciate each other feels almost like a fairy tale these days, right? And this play embraces that in ways that I'm really excited to work on.
I mean, I think it's really important story for what's happening today in our society. Sadly, you just sort of hinted at the end, we don't have enough of those interactions with folks that are somewhat different from us, right, let alone those that are very different for us.
Well, and given the context of this podcast, I have to also mention that we are having the most fabulous partnership with the Madison Streets division. And perfect. Our actors are going to be,
that's awesome.
Our first week of rehearsal is the week of move out day downtown. And we've made arrangements. Our actors are going to get to follow the trucks along as they load all the stuff. They're going to do ride-alongs in the cabs with a couple of employees to really, see up close and personal what life is like here in Madison for the sanitation workers. And we're also doing an art exhibit at Overture Center in partnership with both the sanitation department, the Madison Arts Commission, and Art and Lit Lab. That's going to be art inspired by what we throw away. So kind of all the different angles.
This is amazing. Perfect timing, literally on August 15th with so much garbage. I have to say, you already have a fan. My neighbor, 2-year-old little boy that lives next to us, is absolutely in love with the Public Works Department. And every time they drive by, every Monday, hello, garbage people. I mean, he is so excited. So
yeah,
what a wonderful opportunity. Jen, your passion just comes right through the camera. Why are you so passionate about theater, and why did you get involved in theater to begin with?
Well, I'm passionate about it, honestly, because I think that it is, in my opinion, live theater is the best vehicle for accomplishing two different things. One thing is catharsis, which, for those who don't know, that's an ancient Greek term that was applied to theater. And catharsis is that feeling that you get when you see your own story played out and you realize that you're not alone. And it might be, you might weep, you might laugh, you might get chills, but you have an emotional release because you are seeing something familiar and true about yourself as a human play out in front of you. And I think theater does that so powerfully, because it's not just that telling of a story, but you're also surrounded by other living humans while you experience it. So that catharsis is a thing that theater does so beautifully. But we also have the flip side of that, which is the building of empathy. And that's when you see someone's story that's completely different from yours, that you might never know or understand. And it's that sort of walk in someone else's shoes experience. And again, to experience that with live actors mere feet away from you. I mean, in the Playhouse where we do our shows, if you are in the back row, you are 8 rows away from the stage. That's how close you are to these actors. You have this visceral, intimate experience of people whose story is maybe very different from yours, and you get to learn how we're all not that different after all. So that's where my passion comes from, because I think that you not only can have this very emotional personal experience, you can also have an incredible community building experience, a transporting artistic experience, and theater can really make change by broadening the way we all see our community. And as a community based company that's so embedded in the civic life of the Madison area, that is so inspiring. So that's the why for me. And I grew up in this area. I was an Oregon high school grad, and my parents loved theater and brought me to see shows. And so when I was in high school, I was performing in shows. I never thought that was something I wanted. I certainly never wanted to be an actor. I knew what good acting was, and that was not what I was doing. But I loved theater. I loved being around it. And when I was in college, I had an opportunity to do some directing, and that was kind of a light bulb moment for me. And after college, I moved to New York City, and I was there for 15 years and doing a lot of directing. But I'm so grateful and happy that I moved back to Madison with my family, and then a few years later had the opportunity to help found Forward Theater.
That's so powerful. Literally what you're talking about, catharsis and empathy. Forward Theater is such an important part, as the arts are in general, of a vibrant downtown. Why do you think Forward Theater is so important to create that vibrancy and that inclusiveness and equitability in downtown and in our community?
Well, I think that what I describe as our secret sauce at Forward is something that it's actually a big part of a national discourse that's happening right now. Because if you pick up the New York Times or the Washington Post or any major newspaper over the last couple of weeks, you're going to find a story about how the American theater is in crisis. There are companies closing or drastically reducing their staffing, their programming all over the country. It is a terrifying time for the American theater. And what you see is that the companies that are doing okay, the companies that, like Forward, I mean, we had a dip. It hurts, the pandemic. We are down in our numbers. We are, working on building back, but we're going to be fine, right? We built reserves that will get us through this, and we're mission driven. So we're spending those reserves to not cut back on our staffing or our programming. And there are companies like us around the country. And the ones that are going to be fine are the ones that from the beginning and consistently have been about serving our communities. And we get at that in different ways. It's partly through hiring locally. 90+% of the artists that we hire live in Southern Wisconsin. We are investing in the professional artists that live here in our state. We partner with local businesses and nonprofits on virtually every production that we do to increase the impact beyond the stage of the Playhouse. And we're really in dialogue with the audience, not just our subscribers who, bless them, sign up to come to everything we do, and they are the bedrock upon which we are able to sustain this company, but our single ticket buyers as well. You know, we do pre-show lectures, we have talkbacks after every performance where after you've seen the play, you can stick around and stay in your seat for 20 minutes and talk with the artists who worked on the play and about how it impacted you or what your questions are. And that dialogue makes, I think, it feel like we are all in this together. Like, our theater company is Madison's theater company. We exist to provide art and entertainment and also thoughtful introspection of what it means to live in this community, in the plays that we do. And that back and forth, I think, makes us a valued public service as much as an arts organization.
Support, though, is both ways, right? You're supporting the community, but the community needs to support you.
Yeah.
We need to ensure. I would look. Maybe I'm on my soapbox now, and it's you're the guest, but I'll say something. I mean, I think we as a community need to support local theater, local arts, sports, whatever that may be, now more than ever, because unfortunately the pandemic did create some issues economically for these groups. So what can the community, DMI, and the larger community do to help continue to support forward theater?
Well, I love the way that you said that, because, you know, about a decade ago, I led an initiative to get all of the resident orgs at Overture Center, you know, the ballet and the symphony, you know, we all joined Dane Buy Local as a block, because I think this community is so good at embracing a buy local ethos when it comes to restaurants and shops, bookstores, all of that. So spreading that value system to incorporate the arts as well, because you have a lot of arts organizations forward for theater, but also you got the children's theater, and like I said, the symphony, the ballet, the opera, chamber orchestra. These are all organizations that employ local artists and make art that speaks to our community, right? So there's this virtue cycle. But you say, how can you support? I mean, the single best thing that somebody could do if they want to support what we do is subscribe to Forward Theater and say, I will come to all 4 shows. We're really affordable. And we work really hard. I mean, we don't price our tickets at a level of what they cost us to put on theater. Right now, about 45% of our revenues come from ticket sales. The rest comes from generous, individual donors, and some from corporate, some from foundation. If I can be on my soapbox, I will just say for a moment here, I don't know if everybody's aware, but Wisconsin is 50 out of 50 for support of the arts in terms of what comes from the government. What the city has to give, what the county has to give, what the state has to give is less than 1% of what we take in our budget to support the work that we do. And that's infuriating. We should not be 50th, especially when you look at like our neighbors to the west in Minnesota. The per capita investment from Minnesota is something like $6.80 or something like that. Wisconsin is 14 cents. That's a pretty extreme divide. But while we don't have government support helping us here in this state, we have incredible individual donors and wonderful support from foundations like Madison Community Foundation. But really, most importantly, we have a really devoted and incredible subscriber base. And that's what helped us get through the pandemic years. Companies around the country saw drops in subscriber numbers from 25 to 60%. And we saw our numbers went down. Sure, there was a pandemic, but nothing close to that. So there's lots of different ways people can support and get involved.
Well, find whatever way it suits you,
That's
listener,
right.
right now. So you have a very exciting 2023-2024 season. We talked about the Garbologist already, but you have 3 other performances happening throughout the year. What are you excited about this 15th season of Forward
Well,
Theater?
I mean, all of them, because they're all so different. And that's partly because what we were talking about earlier, we try to serve this community. And so that means doing a lot of different kinds of theater. And our subscribers will tell you, you know, they'll come to see all 4 shows and maybe they passionately love 1 or 2 of them and they like 1 or 2 of them. And maybe there's one that they're like, well, that was not my cup of tea. But hopefully they appreciated the caliber of the production and the actors and the design and the opportunity for discussion. But art is so personal. And so we try to program for a lot of different tastes. And this season represents that beautifully. So we start with Garbologist. Then we have this play, Clydes by Lynn Nottage. And she is one of the great American contemporary playwrights. Clydes is set in the kitchen of a Pennsylvania truck stop sandwich shop. And everybody who works in this kitchen is formerly incarcerated. So as I was talking earlier, there's so many great opportunities for local partnerships that we're doing around this production. But let me tell you, this is such a great comedy. And talking about seeing fun things on stage, they're making sandwiches the whole time. And they are talking and dreaming about creating the perfect sandwich. So that is, I can't wait. I can't wait to see this play. And then
Not to interrupt you, but does the audience then get to eat the sandwiches?
I wish that we could get away with
Yeah, probably can't. There's health rules against that.
But we are partnering with Just Dane and Just Bakery, and they're going to be selling their cookies in the lobby. So you can get a great cookie baked by a local nonprofit that employs formerly incarcerated folks. So we've got that tie-in all ready to go.
Any way we can support Linda Ketchum, we're all for it.
Absolutely. So we've got that. In the winter, we are doing this gorgeous play called The Flying Lovers of Vitebsk, and it's about Marc Chagall, the painter, and his wife Bella, who was a writer. And it's about their marriage and about their art. And it's got music from sort of the Jewish community of Eastern Europe in the early 20th century. And it's got movement, it's going to be this gorgeous piece of visual and movement and musical art and heart and romance and, perfect for January and February. And then we're going to close the season out with What the Constitution Means to Me, which is one of those magical pieces of theater that will make you feel everything. I saw the Broadway production. I was laughing. I was crying. I was outraged. I was inspired. The brilliant Colleen Madden is going to be playing that central role. I think it is going to be one of those incredibly impactful evenings in the theater. So I'm excited about all of it for different reasons.
Oh, I love your passion. I mean, thank you. Thank you for what you do in making Madison a better community for all of us. All right, we're going to ask you our fast and furious 5 questions.
Okay.
Whatever comes to the top of your mind.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm basically asking you what your favorite kid is with this first question, but what's your favorite play you've ever directed?
Fun Home.
Okay. All right. Well, you had an answer right there. Your favorite?
Hard,
what's your favorite theater space? Not at the Overture in downtown Madison.
Ooh, favorite theater space, not at the Overture in downtown Madison. Well, I mean,
that is very specific. Let's just say Madison area community.
Yeah, I mean, the Bartell. I love all of those companies and the work that they do and the passion that happens in that building.
It's summertime. We're known for our festivals. What's your favorite summer festival in downtown?
Oh, probably Art Fair.
Yeah, it is a good one. All right. You've lived here for quite a while, and you and your husband, Peter, are really out and about town all the time. What's your favorite hidden gem downtown that you like, but you think other people don't know? And we're not trying to give away your hidden gem, by the way.
Okay.
But I guess we are.
Well, that's fine. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, I don't know how hidden it is, but like the downtown Madison establishment that I send every visiting friend and relative to is Anthology. That little shop on State Street. I mean,
sisters do good work.
They do such good work. I own so many things from that store.
And then Little Luxuries right next door. I mean, it all kind of fits.
Yep.
And then get a nice sandwich from Paul's. But anyway, that's my day. Okay, so speaking of perfect day downtown, you've got visitors coming from out of town. What do you do on that Saturday?
Okay, well, we're going to start with Farmers Market because there is no better way to show off this town to an out-of-towner. And then we'll come and walk around Overture Center. You know, it depends what's programming that, you know, if we're doing summer, but we're going to walk around Overture because those two things. We're going to walk downstate, you know, end up at the terrace, get some ice cream, and then watch everybody want to move here.
I like that. All right. I'm going to ask questions 6
Okay.
and 7 because you're so fast. You mentioned ice cream, and it's my favorite question. What's your favorite Babcock flavor?
Oh, see, I'm already with my favorite chocolate chop flavor.
Oh, well, that's fine. We can
But
go
that's a
chocolate
lot.
chop. Great
Chocolate
downtown
chop.
business.
And it's the one that I can't say the name about. This blank got serious.
Oh, yes. Yes. We're an adult podcast, but
Okay.
the word begins with S and ends with T, and it's 4 letters.
That's right. Exactly. But oh my God, that is a brilliant flavor of ice cream.
It is
You can't
very
get
good.
it
All right, I've
anywhere
got
else.
one last question for you, and this is very personal. So I'm a new parent. I have a 6-month-old who in the car occasionally gets fussy. He actually is a very good kid, but occasionally gets fussy.
Yeah.
And we've noticed that none of the kids' radio programming really calms him down. You know what does, Jen?
Yeah.
Sirius XM's on Broadway.
Oh.
Literally every single time.
Oh,
It calms down. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be Les Mis. It could be The King and I. It could be Hamilton. Why? Why does a 6-month-old react like that to Broadway show tunes?
Okay, this is my guess. Because a Broadway show tune is telling a story. And I'm not saying it's because a 6-month-old is able to perceive.
He doesn't know what, he
Right,
doesn't know up from
the
down.
story.
Yeah.
But the music supports a journey. It's going from one place to another place in a way that maybe a typical pop song is more kind of repeating something.
Mhm.
But a show tune has a different purpose, which is to take a character from one place to another. So it's evolving over the course of a song. And so this is now I'm being an armchair neurologist. I don't know, but
We appreciate it.
I wonder if there's something about the way it's changing and going somewhere that even a 6-month-old brain is recognizing that this is not staying the same. It's moving somewhere, and that's interesting. That's my guess.
Well, we just are so excited about it because we're Broadway fans ourselves.
Yes.
We're theater fans ourselves. So maybe Mateo goes into the theater. You know, whatever he wants to do, we will support him. So Jennifer Uphoff Gray, Artistic Director at Forward Theater, thank you so much for joining us on the Downtown Madison Happenings podcast. Let's do everything we can to support season 15 of Forward Theater. Go see 1, 2, 3, all 4, and subscribe to Forward Theater. They really do help make Downtown Madison a vibrant place. Thank you to our friends at American Family Insurance for your support as well. Hopefully we'll see you downtown. Thanks for your support.